Alright my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to our brand new episode of our community build series. It's Jamii Conservation Park, my friends. Yes, we are back here in our zoo, my friends, and we've got a big episode, a very exciting episode, I hope, today coming up for you guys. Last episode, my friends, is linked above for you right now. Make sure you go check that one out if you've not done so already. Feel free to comment on this video as well. I want you to keep getting your fantastic ideas in. I am going to be going over some of your comments today. First thing I want to say is obviously I probably sound a little bit bunged up. Throat is still a bit raspy. I don't know what's going on. I'm still suffering with my throat, which is why, my friends, I didn't upload too much this week and there wasn't any streams again. I do apologize for that, but my voice just can't take it at the moment. Making videos actually is quite a process at the minute. I kind of have to make a video and then make one another day. I usually make them all in sort of 1 or 2 days, but I'm not able to do that because of the pain that I'm having with my throat. But hopefully it's going to get better over time, and you know, we'll always be able to get back to normal soon, my friends. But we are here, like I say, back in JCP. I did put out on the community page on YouTube and on the Discord for the people that are members of that. If you want to become a member of the Discord, you can find the link, my friends, in the description box below. But I did put out a little message to you all, basically giving you the option of what we did in today's episode. The reason I gave you the options was because the current build that I'm working on isn't finished. I'm actually, I kind of said in the little message 2/3, but I actually think I'm a bit further off than that. Basically, to cut a long story short, I've gone down a route where I'm trying to be super detailed with this next build for a couple of reasons. One, I think that the zoo deserves to have a really detailed animal hospital, but the second one is I want to see how far I've come, basically, when it comes to building inside the game, and I want to make this available on the Steam Workshop, and I want it to you know, be a piece that people can use and put in their zoos and really love, basically, and make it quite easily editable as well. I want the rooms to be, you know, have the ability to be editable by you guys. I might make them a blank canvas when I put it up on the Steam Workshop as well. But basically, yeah, cutting a long story short, I just haven't got it finished. So what I did was I went to Discord, went to the YouTube channel, and I said, which option would you prefer? We come in and we do an episode anyway, we take a look at the build in some detail, and you know, we leave it at that, I finish it. Or two, we come in, I quickly just give you a little overview of what we've done, and then we run through the comments that you guys have been leaving over the last couple of episodes with regards to what we potentially do next time. What I am planning to do, my friends, is do 2 episodes of JCP in this coming week. Hopefully I'll have the animal hospital finished by Wednesday. I'll put an episode up on Wednesday for that, and then hopefully then I can get at least started on the new sort of African jungle area, and I can put an episode out on Sunday. That's the plan. Whether or not we manage to do that, we will wait and see, because things just come up, don't they, during the course of a week. So yeah, I let you guys vote on those options, and it was clear cut, 50-50, right down the middle. So what I've decided to do, my friends, is I'm going to give you a quick look at the build, as obviously the thumbnail would have suggested. It is still under construction, so you have to use your imagination. I will talk you through sort of like the plan and where I'm going to go with it. We're going to do that first, and then after that I'm going to head over to where the jungle area is going to start, and we're going to start running through some of your comments that you guys have been leaving, because some of the ideas are really fantastic, and I want to offer your ideas up to the wider community so that then everybody can kind of nail the ones that they really like, and then I can use those as the biggest source of inspiration when it comes to building the habitats. That's essentially how I do it each and every time. So yeah, let's take a look at what I've been doing. It isn't just the animal hospital, ladies and gents. I am going to show you some other stuff. I did just want to say though, sight lines in zoos are really important, and I actually think when you look here now, all that foliage all growing in, we've got some beautiful sight lines in JCP, and they're only going to get better with the plans that I've got for the new areas as well, where the you know, where the elevation and stuff is concerned with the terrain. You will see I've done a bit of work on the car parks, but just been filling them up with cars, basically, just to make them look as though they are a bit more of a working car park. I've moved all of the spawn points as well, as we have put in a brand new piece of car park over here, my friends. I did say I was going to do this. I said that I was going to make this sort of part of this section after we did the major plans sort of episode last time around. So yeah, put in a brand new piece of car park. I'll kind of talk you through all of this because, like I say, I have moved the spawn points. So I believe there is a spawn point down here somewhere now, hidden under one of the cars, and there's a spawn point over here as well, hidden under the cars. And there's also a spawn point under these little sort of bus shelters as well, so that we get lots of movement, basically, is what I was looking for. So these guests from over here will have to walk up there, along here, and then back on itself. These will obviously use these, and then there is a spawn point under this bus stop up here. So we're just basically just trying to make lots of different points where guests can come from, essentially. So yeah, I've moved all the spawn points around to just kind of make that work a little bit better, basically. There are only bus stops on one side of the road. Now, I want to clear this up. We have to remember this road here, my friends, is like an old road for the industrial estate that used to exist here. That's all part of JCP's law. The main road is going to be along here. This is just an off-road, and you'll see that it actually just kind of comes back on itself. There's two separate bus routes that would bring people to the zoo. This is bus route 1, this is bus route 2. There doesn't need to be a bus stop on the other side of the road because people would get dropped off, and then the bus would just go up, round and back on itself, and then out again. These here are coach stops. These are not bus stops. So this is for the coaches and stuff that are bringing maybe school kids and things like that to the zoo. So it's all a little bit different. But yeah, I'm really just trying to nail down all these little details now to really kind of bring all this sort of area to life. But yeah, this is the new car park. I'm not going to go over this too much, but essentially you've got your in and your out. This is your in. Cars can't come in here. If they do, it's a mistake. They kind of just have to turn around and come back out. Or on a really busy day at the zoo, they would potentially open this up here, and cars could then filter into the car parks, basically. But this section, this little road here, is literally just for the coach parking. There's enough parking for 6 coaches. That's a lot of people if you think about how many people can get on a coach. So yeah, it's a lot of people that can be coming to the zoo. Which I thought was about right, because this is going to be a very big zoo, very, very big zoo. We've all decided on that. This is kind of like a little power point here, disguised as like generators, and I've put just a load of stuff in here, you know, like salt bin in case there's cold snaps, and bins and stuff like that, and just traffic cones and things that might be used in the car park, basically. This car park here looks as though it's part of the coach car park, but it's actually got a separate road in the old part of the car park. So if you were to come and filter through the car park, as you usually would, you can then go this way, and you can either come down here for the larger part or come down here for the kind of overspill here. So we actually have a lot of parking now at the zoo. I think we're done with car parks. I don't think we need to worry too much about that anymore. We've got this parking here, we've got this parking here, we've got this parking here, and then this up here is going to be a staff car park. As you can see, just trying to finish off all these areas here, putting the staff road in place. But yeah, like I say, if you went all the way up here, this is just basically you just turn back on yourself, and away you go back the other way, and that's kind of how that works. I'm just gonna foliage all this in, low, maybe some high and low density sort of foliage, so trees and bushes and that sort of stuff. I am going to put like a proper roundabout in the middle, and then this here, like I've already said, is going to be a staff car park, because I think we need one over here as much as we do over in this area as well. So yeah, that's my thinking, that's the work I've been doing. I actually think this car park is really cool. Actually, I've done all the lighting in the car park as well, as you would have noticed. Lots and lots of lighting all in all of the car parks, just trying to tie all of this up, my friends. So yeah, that's just a small piece of information. I even put these little bus shelters in case it was wet while the people were getting off the coach or waiting to get back on. And then yeah, it comes up here, my friends, and the pavement for our guests finishes here. Now what I am thinking of doing is, in case at the end of the day, like civilian cars might go up here and they might get a bit lost, is there's going to be a checkpoint for the animal hospital and the staff parking. I'm going to be putting up this way. But we're going to obviously, if a patron's car or whatever ends up going up this way, they're just going to get turned around. It's a bit much to kind of like make them turn around here, so I'm actually going to put a little off-road here where they can turn the car around and then come back this way. I think that makes the most sense. I was having a look at examples of this online, and it is something that, some places will use. So it's not actually that crazy to do so. This bank of foliage is actually going to come further this way because the animal hospital has kind of changed the original master plan. The car parking is going to be, here, but we're not actually going to need as many admin buildings now because this building is large and some of the admin buildings have been placed inside. I wanted all of the admin buildings that had anything to do with the veterinary hospital in there, basically. This very hospital, it's got an office for the director. It's got an office. It's got a boardroom, basically, for if the vets ever needed and the nurses ever needed to have a meeting about certain animals. It's got some offices for some staff to work. It's got a breakout area, and then downstairs it's got a surgery, a scrub, a laundry. It's got everything you could think that it would need. It's loosely based off of the Oakland Zoo veterinary hospital. If you go and check that out online, you will see that the outside of it looks very, very similar with my own little, I've had my own little touch on it. There's a few bits I have changed, but it's kind of based on that. It's a very large building. Some people might not like the size of it because of the scale compared to other stuff, but you have to put into context that this is the veterinary hospital for the whole zoo. So it needed to be large because of the amount of animals that it will service eventually when the zoo is complete and up and running. We probably won't be building any more animal hospitals. This is the one that is going to do the whole zoo. So that's why it is quite large. So yeah, the plans here have changed. I'm probably going to bring this green belt further this way. I'll probably bring that little road in for our guests to turn around about here. And then we will put some admin buildings in, but I'm probably going to be putting some parking in over here as well for obviously the people that work in the admin and the animal hospital to kind of park their vehicles. And then I kind of need to be putting some outdoor paddocks for some larger animals. Now, when I was doing some research on the animal hospital areas, the larger, really large animals, they don't stay at the animal hospital. That's not how zoos do it because of space. They are actually returned to their habitats, but they go in like what they call single cell units. That sounds really disgusting, that term, but it is a term that was used in stuff I was reading. So it's essentially just a section that is designated for an animal that's come back from an operation or needs sort of moving and separating from a herd, for example. They have that in place. Elephants, for instance, have got it. They kind of need it anyway, for like the big ball elephants to be sort of separated, as do a lot of other animals. Grizzly bears have to do this and so on, because males are a lot more of an aggressive species in the animal kingdom. But also they have these set aside as well in case animals are sick or animals have had operations and so on and so on. So what I will say is this might seem weird when it's finished that there aren't going to be any huge areas for like the really big animals, but the reason for that is I'm going for realism, and these animal hospitals at these zoos don't really do that. I am going to build some outdoor paddocks though. I have seen some zoos, from a lot of the examples I've looked at, have some paddocks like that, but not many do. So I'm going to talk you through it anyway, my friends, but I just kind of wanted to get you on the same mindset as me, thinking along the same lines, and trying to understand exactly what I've done. Now, I'm not going to go into this in loads of detail, ladies and gents, because it's not finished. I just want to show you where we're at with it, though. I want to give you a bit of a progress report, and I want to show you exactly where I'm at, and then basically tell you how long I think it's going to take me to get it finished, because I worked on this all week. And this is how far I got. But like I say, I am using this as an example to kind of see how far I've got. So first and foremost, I elevated terrain here. The zoo is a relatively flat zoo. It's going to change now, though, from the point we're at. I am going off subject a little bit, but it is going to change. Now, the way I look at it is the original zoo, the original sort of industrial plot, I should say, is this. See this front section before North America, where the old factory ends. If you go to there and you come down to the car park, that's where the original industrial estate was. Now, in the UK, these industrial estates where factories and warehouses and stuff like that are are relatively flat. They usually flatten them out and they make them really smooth and just easy to work on. And so that's kind of the law that I've used in the zoo, is that bit was relatively flat. But from now on out, I am going to be trying my hardest to really mess around with the terrain and make it more of an experience, especially with the ideas you guys have been coming up with, especially for this area. You were talking about a Dole sheep exhibit with a camping site, which I love, but we could really elevate that up so that the campsite looks over the zoo. I think that would be a fantastic idea to do. I think that, like the Dole sheep, obviously because of the nature of that animal, I think it would be really cool to build a rock face behind them and have that as a really cool looking elevated habitat. Then you were talking about, you know, the savannah animals eventually, you know, how you'd like the savannah to look and so on and so on. So there are some really good ideas, and I am going to be messing around with it a bit more. But, you know, it is quite a flat existence at the minute, so I wanted to kind of raise this up a little bit. I wanted this to be a little higher up, and the reason I've done this is once the through road comes in, it's going to look really cool the way the road is going to slowly elevate. We're going to just bank these down. We're going to grass that up and bank it all down, and it'll look as though there's just this lovely curved verge. I've just kind of put this in as a rough shape. We will change all this when it is finished though, but there will be like a rough verge, and then we'll be able to put some nice little bits of foliage and all that sort of stuff in. Now this road here is the road for the animal hospital. There's going to be a little sort of stop parking spot here. We're going to bring this road this way, and then once this end of the building's finished, we'll bring this and it'll come back here as well, and then it'll have access to the walkway that will be for our keepers that will go back this way, the keepers, the staff, and so on and so on, and it'll go back this way, and it's going to come all the way around, and it's going to come and join here. The inside this part here is going to be paved over. I am going to put some sort of paved design in there, but essentially this is where the vehicles are going to pull up, and inside each one of these doors, now I've put radiology here. I'm probably not going to use this text because it's too big, but basically each one of these doors will be sort of like an emergency access point for each station. So I believe it's radiology here, treatment here, surgery at the end, and then these are for your quarantine units over this side. The doors are very, very big, but they need to be because of the size of the animals that could potentially come this way. Now, an elephant can't come here to have surgery done because elephants are way too large. Surgery on an elephant will actually be done wherever the elephants live. 9 times out of 10. There are some zoos that have the facility to move an elephant off site, but usually big animals like that, will have the work done usually where they are in a sort of cleaned, quarantined unit that exists there. But something like a lion, which is a big animal, or a bear, can come here because we've created it in a way so that the animal can. So yeah, the doors are very, very large, but each door is kind of like an emergency access point for each thing. So the way you have to look at the building as well is downstairs over this side is treatment, upstairs is staff facility, and then this side, ladies and gents, this is all animal housing and quarantine. Basically, that's how the building works. So if I just flip you around this way and show you this first, because this is the bit I'm currently working on. It's going to look like a bit of a hot mess, but I will explain it, my friends, the best way possible. So essentially, these are each one of these is a quarantine room. You'll see the doors on there. This is obviously for a smaller species. A small hoof stock animal can go in these. Like I've already said, the rooms aren't going to be huge because of the nature of the way zoos do this sort of stuff. So yeah, that's that. There is going to be another quarantine room this side as well. And then this here is a staff through. This is like a staff in and out access point from the back. There's then going to be a staff point that walks all the way along, and there's going to be a wall at the back, and it's all going to have fences all on the top. So basically the way it works is, where if you can see this wall here, anything north of that wall will be indoors. Anything south of that is outdoors. Obviously this here is a larger outdoor area, but this bit will probably be covered up a little bit, I would imagine, because we're probably going to use this. I might use this, I'm not sure yet, but I might use this and just cover this bit up a bit more, because all the other rooms, this is going to be a main sort of wall here, structural wall. I've used plaster pieces because it's been easier to work with, and then you'll see when I show you a little bit of the other building, the walls have just been thickened and then decorated and so on and so on. But yeah, that's kind of how it's going to work. So there is going to be like a roof piece to there, and then as you can see, I've kind of put this in place. We're going to try to build some sort of structure on the top so that it's open air, basically. I would have liked to have used sort of like mesh, but we don't have any mesh, unfortunately, that we can put in these places. And then each one's going to have a gate on the back. It's going to have a different sort of door, internal door, and then some of them are going to have doors here as well, so that we can open up the indoors and outdoors. Others are going to be left open, and there'll just be a gate there in case they ever need to close the animal off, but it'll be left open. And then we're going to do the same over here. At the top, I'm probably going to do 2 aquatic rooms, so there'll be small pools inside them, and then there'll be a load of really small rooms for the smaller animals. And then I think about here, I was going to do one that was like an aviarian type room where stuff like flamingos and stuff like that could go in case they ever have to come over here for surgery. Again, this is another throughway for the staff, so there's lots of access points to this piece. We're going to come around this way then eventually with the path. We'll come around this way. There'll be like a shed back here that will be where some of the staff vehicles could be parked, and then on here is where all of the aircon units and all that sort of stuff is going to go. I am going to be putting some solar panels on the roof, and I will be repeating this design at the back as well, potentially. So there will be some solar panels and stuff on the roof as well. But yeah, that's kind of like the only real bit of the treatment side I can show you at the minute, because this is the bit I'm working on, and the reason I run out of time is this bit's so complex. From the plans that I've been looking at, from the stuff I've been reading, this is actually really complex the way it has to be done. You know, the materials that have to be used are very strict. You know, like you can't really use any woods because wood will actually soak up, bacteria and things like that. So everything has to be very much like concrete and metals and stuff that's really easy to clean. And the same has to be said for like the outdoor area as well. So it's there's a lot to it to make sure that it's realistic. So yeah, if we come this way, obviously this is one of our gates. We come this way, this is treatment. So just so you can get an idea of what the indoors is going to look like as well. The roof, the ceilings are quite high in these, and they're actually going to be quite high in these as well. But these are kind of like the doors we're using now. I know I've used wood on the doors, and I've just said we shouldn't be using wood and whatever, but there isn't any other material I can use to like add some colour, so we'll just pretend that that's not wood. Then we've got different doors, basically, like loads of different designs for the doors and whatnot, front and back. I just thought it was like a cool little idea to kind of add, to kind of change things up a bit. But yeah, you'll see like just the doors, they go on forever. There's just doorways everywhere. And then you continue this way, another one. There's loads of different like aisles and whatnot, and we're going to be putting a map up in here somewhere because it is a bit of a maze, but it's cool, you know, like it's a cool building, and I like it. I've got a lot of time for the way it's kind of come together, but all the lighting still needs doing. So indoors is quite dark at the minute, so do remember that, my friends. So yeah, that's the treatment side, and then I'll just quickly take you over to the other side. Like I say, I'm not going through this in as much detail as I usually would, but what I will do is when it's finished, I'll properly go through it in loads of detail then. Now, what I've done over this side is we've actually got some storage sheds at the bottom over here. If you come inside, this is like a storage area. This is a storage area. So we've got those storage sheds, and then we've got like an access point for the staff over this way as well. This is more for the staff that just need to get to the storage areas. We actually have another storage area in here. That's another storage room there. So yeah, really, it's just a quicker access. You're getting a little look. I need to change the colour of that. Totally missed that, didn't I? Yeah, you get a little look at the inside that way. But yeah, they're just storage areas. So then if you come around this way, this is the entrance. This is the in and out for the staff, basically. You met with this lobby area, which I think is pretty cool. I do plan on this wall to dedicate this, the hospital to all of you people that have made the series possible. I'm not going to be writing all your names on there, but I'm just going to dedicate it to the community, and I'm going to be writing that on the wall. And then I might have this wall here as another JCP community wall, basically, and we'll add some more names on there just to add a little detail to the walls in here. because it is quite a blank canvas at the minute. Everything's white because it's a clean colour, and especially where surgery rooms and things like that are concerned, white is a very popular colour that's used and whatnot, as you all probably know anyway. And then so basically what we've got down here, this is another door to that storage, one of the storage rooms that I showed you. These doors here are to bathrooms. Downstairs in here. I haven't actually put toilets like the facility toilets in because the staff don't use them in the game, but I have what I've done is I've built little bathrooms basically, and the same there. So we've got bathrooms there. So if you come this way, this is where all of the treatment rooms and whatnot are. So I've put three of the vet rooms in. Now what I've done though is I've changed the doors. So I've just hidden, so you can still see the doors there, but we don't need to see this, do we, at the end of the day, because this is one of those buildings you don't really see a lot of it. So I've disguised the door basically behind this larger door, so it just kind of gives the illusion that it's got a big sort of door. These are not as big as the front doors, but they're a lot larger in scale because they obviously need to be. So we've got the door there. This door is really large because this is for treatment. This is the one that's probably would get used the most. And then we've got the one at the end as well that's a similar size to the one at the other end. Now I did obviously start doing all the little nitty-gritty details, but it's very difficult to finish this off. Why? It's still a work in progress. And then obviously we've got doors that would go out into the corridor back there. But yeah, this is just a quick look at what this side of it looks like. I actually really like the way this turned out. I think it's really, really cool. And it does actually have very much like that animal hospital feel about it, which is what everything we were trying to achieve at the end of the day, ladies and gents. So yeah, that's that side of things. It will have a lot more detail added to it, obviously as time goes on. There's lots of things that need adding, like lights and things to the wall. So yeah, if we come this way, there's a lift that does go up, my friends, upstairs, and then you come this way, and then this side, there's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to bother decorating these rooms. I might do them, but I'm not sure. So what we've got back here is just loads of loads of other stuff basically. So like a laundry room, there's like a scrubs room. I'm trying to think. There was like a kitchen, which is the one right at the end, so that's like food prep room. And then this one here was like the back door to the treatment room that obviously you've seen a minute ago. And then these here are like scrub, and I think one was like x-ray, and then they'd have doors, like internal doors. Like as you can see, I put them there in case I decide to actually do the decorating, but these, like the internal door would go straight into treatment basically, and that's how it would work. And again, this one would go straight into surgery because it's scrub. This is the scrub room. So I've put all the doors in, and I've like made sure that like all this was kind of like nailed on. And like I say, I might detail it because I think this might be a nice like Easter egg for you guys to look at when the zoo's finished and it's on the workshop, or when obviously I make this available, this build available on the workshop. It might just be nice like Easter eggs for you guys to look at. And then you carry on up this way, and then this does go straight out into sort of like this would go out into the treatment quarantine area. There's going to be like an alleyway here, and there will be doors off of that staff walkway. Basically, that's what that door there is for, to go into a room back there. But yeah, that's essentially that's the downstairs. Like I say, I'm going to go through this in far more detail at a later date, ladies and gents, when it is all finished. So then let's dive in this way. So if you were to come to the top of the stairs, the staircase is large. I do understand that, but I wanted there to be the ability to go, up and down the staircase at the same time. At the end of the day, like, these are very, very busy buildings, treatment areas, and there might be a case of needing to get a bit of a rush on and passing people on the stairs. So yeah, when you come to the top of the stairs, this is like the veterinary director's office. This one here, and this here is the boardroom. Now this, I've put chairs and a table and stuff in. This might not stay here. Now basically, I'm trying to achieve scale, and it's very, very difficult. in JCP. Well, in Planet Zoo in general, it's very difficult to achieve proper scale. So I am trying my hardest, basically, to achieve the scale. But yeah, this is like the start of the boardroom. This isn't finished. There's still plenty more details and stuff I would like to add. These are all custom windows, by the way. Was picked up in by Lexi, I believe, in one of the pictures I put up on the Discord. If you're not a member of the Discord, I would become part of it because I do share images and stuff like that on there. And you get a little sneak peek as the week goes on. And then what I've done, because I've actually seen this, I've actually worked in offices where this is a thing, I've actually made like a very sort of like quick route into the director's office from the conference room, because they spend so much time there. They just kind of have their own door. And I actually worked in an office where this was a thing. And yeah, this is the director's office. There's the lift. We go around this way, and then there's a bunch of rooms. Now, I've put a lab in upstairs because I think that's, that was wise. It was something on one of the plans as well, in case there needs to be any testing of any, large lumps or bumps and blood tests and all that sort of stuff. So there is a lab up here. And then what I've done here, this is like a copy room for the office. So there's going to be a copy room there. This room here is going to be the office. So this is going to be where, like the staff work. As and when they need to. This is just like a rough design. Like this could well change, these desks and whatnot. But yeah, this is the office up here, and then there's bathrooms up here as well. We've got a his and hers bathroom up here, not decorated yet, so I won't bother showing you inside those rooms. And then over here, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with this room. It could be like another sort of meeting room, I guess, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. There's a little cubby hole here that I might just put cupboards at the end there and along here, and they would be like your cloak cupboards and stuff like that. I think that might be a good idea. And then over here, this is the breakout room, so this would be where your staff chill out and stuff like that. Some people might be thinking to themselves, why didn't you put in one of the staff rooms that are actually in the game? I couldn't get it to fit upstairs, basically. I am going to put one in, but I'm going to put it in downstairs somewhere, and we're just going to hide it and kind of ignore that it even exists, but it will be over here just to kind of make it easy for the vets and stuff to get the job done. So yeah, that's it, my friends. I'm not going to take you through it in any more detail, but that is the animal hospital. We are going to be finished on this very soon, hopefully. Wednesday is when I would like to get the episode out showcasing this whole area, because obviously I want to show you all of the landscape and everything finished as well. All the car parks put in, basically get this bit finished so that we can crack on with the jungle area, and we're going to get to that, my friends, right now, as I'm going to run through some of your amazing comments. Right, my friends, so let's crack on with some of your comments and your feedback. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little bit underprepared today. I'm going to be reading this straight from my YouTube channel. Usually, I copy and paste all of my favourite comments into a document and read from there, but I'm just going to basically run through the comments straight from YouTube and read them out aloud for all of us to hear. Now, I'm going to try and take these from the last two videos in this series, I think, because that makes more sense, because I actually think that some people left some really clever comments on the master plan episode, as well as the last one we did, the last official episode that we did, which was like the African sort of breakout sort of area, the pit stop area. So I'm going to be reading out a fair few comments because I want you guys to really give me your feedback on the African area and let me know how you see this area kind of coming together based on what people have said. I'm sure a lot of you read each other's comments, and this is kind of like a waste of time for some of you, but for the wider community this is always good to do, because in case they haven't, then they get to hear out what people have said. First one I'm going to take a little read of is that of Primal. I'm not gonna read the entire comment. I'm just gonna read the bits that like we need to be cracking on with in the comments, my friends, just to save a little bit of time. But he's left us a few points. Number one, for the tropical animals for Africa, I think we could do something cool like African primate house with the mandrills, gorillas, bonobos, have the indoor areas with a jungle with jungle gyms. Two, for the animal hospital, I think we definitely need many access routes like tunnels, bridges around the zoo, just so it would realistically be easier for staff to transport sick animals, and that's all he's got. On the subject of the animal hospital and the transport routes, there is obviously going to be that staff the staff route that goes around the entirety of the zoo, and then there are going to be access points from the outside right next to the animal hospital to make that easier, the in and out of animals. But yeah, there are actually going to be, I think there's actually going to be sort of like 3 routes that connect to the animal hospital. There wouldn't be any need to have like a tunnel that went from one side to the other. That's not realistic. It actually costs money to bore through ground, and zoos will always try to find the cheapest possible way of doing things. So yeah, we will have many access points to the animal hospital. That's a really good point that you bring up though, and it's something that people might not have thought about. And then on the subject of the primate house, I like the idea, but I'm just gonna, obviously I always like to throw the other side of the conversation at you guys, just to open it up. We have a lot of indoor areas in the zoo, so we have to be careful about what buildings we add. I know someone brought it up a while ago, and they said that it feels like we've got more indoor stuff than we do outdoor stuff, and we have to be careful that we don't make this like a zoo that probably belongs under a dome, so to speak, because there's so much indoor stuff going on. But I agree that there is going to need to be a facility for the animals to go to. So what I am thinking, Primal, to kind of like meet you halfway, is we make the primate house, but it's not accessible to the guests. I would actually be more inclined to make a primate house that is just a housing unit for all of the primates, but they all kind of live in the same housing unit in separate parts. I think that might be a good way to kind of meet you halfway. But if enough people want a primate house, I will happily do it. You're in control. I always just like to offer up a different side of the conversation. Chewie's up next. Looks amazing, so much detail. My suggestion for an animal for the African jungle area is the pygmy hippo. It would be the first animal that you could make an underwater viewing gallery for, and also they are kind of a small animal, so you could start with them and move on to bigger animals like gorillas, like harpies, and so on. That's my suggestion for the first animal in the African jungle zone. Great work as always. I really want to get the pygmy hippo in. It's one of my favourite animals, like, in the game, and actually they've got pygmy hippos at London Zoo, and they are cool little animals to go and look at as well. So I do want to get them in. I think that we could make the pygmy hippos part of the primate section. I really, really do. I expressed this before, that I think that the pygmy hippos could obviously have their own little habitat, but we could make the water trench that we could use to separate the apes and the gorillas and so on from our patrons, and we could use that trench water as a way for our pygmies to move around. I do think that would be cool, especially if the primates that we used were from the same jungles as the pygmy hippos. I think that would make a lot of sense, so that the pygmies would have 2 small grass-verged areas and an indoor building that's connected by a walkway. And so I would like to work that in, and if that means the pygmy has to be, one of the first animals we see, so be it. It's a cool idea. I like the fact that you've kind of brought up the pygmy hippos. Jaden's Wildlife Adventure. This is a new commenter, I believe, so that's one of the reasons I'm reading this out. For the Start of African section, maybe you could do 2 separate habitats with natural barriers to make it seem as if the animals live together. The okapis or the bongo in front, then a rock wall, and the gorillas above, perhaps. You could also do something like this with the pygmy hippos. Now, I love this idea because, as I said earlier in today's episode, I really want to start messing around with terrain, and I think that this is a cool way of this is a really cool way of attacking that idea a bit more. We would obviously have to make this accessible to the people, but if we could make it look this way as the guests walk up. So what I'm saying is, as the guests walk up towards the habitats, if we could make it look as though the okapi or the bongo live lower down, and then as your sight line is looking there, you can see the gorillas slightly higher, that would be an amazing way to make this look and the habitats look, and especially using sort of natural barriers to achieve it as well would be pretty cool, in my opinion. We'd then have to just kind of like make a winding path go up so it kind of gets to the gorilla area. Now, if these were mountain gorillas, it would actually look even better, but they're not the mountain gorilla variety, are they, that we've got in JCP? But still, it doesn't matter. We can twist the law as much as we want with the game. But it's a cool idea. I really like that from Jaden. Absolutely love it. I'm going to try and get through, obviously, as many comments as I can, ladies and gents. Unicorns of Core has left a comment. Said amazing job. I'd love to see in the tropical Africa area a quiet corner with the Okapi, somewhere very chilled out where people can sit, relax with the Okapi. They're a super shy animal apparently, and like to hide. Yeah, that is very, very true. The whole area would make you and the Okapi feel really immersed in the jungle. It'd be cool as theming a lot of lent to the jungle vibe. I feel as some people have mentioned an ape house or an ape area with chimps, gorillas or mandrills would be amazing. I'd save the pygmy hippos for the river section if I'm honest, otherwise that section might be quite bare. That's a fair point. What I will say to you, Unicorn, is that I'm going to use the larger variety of hippo for the river section if we do it. That river section, I just want to throw it out there, is still a very hot topic with everybody in the community. Half of you are really for it, half of you are really against it, and whether or not we do it, we will wait and see. At the end of the day, I've already said, not every animal is going to make it into this zoo, for a couple of reasons. The zoo might not be able to house every animal that we've got in Planet Zoo, for one, all right, because it is a realistic project. But two, I kind of want to save some animals and hold some animals back for the next project that we do. I don't want you getting bored of the animals. I don't want to keep doing all the same animals every time we do a project, because it gets boring. I want you to see new things, new animals, new exhibits, and new ways of doing things every single time. So, I do like the river section idea, but I just want you as a community not to get too hung up on it, because there's no guarantees it's going to happen. It is still, like I say, very down the middle with you, the community, and unless that sways more to one side, it won't happen. I build what you guys want, and if 50% of you don't want it and 50% do, usually I would lean more to not doing it because it's too close to that cut off in the middle. But if, say, 70% wanted it, then I do usually lean more towards that idea. So obviously don't get too hung up on it, but the pygmy hippos I'm definitely going to be doing in this area. I've kind of made that decision myself because I think they will be a cool animal, because a lot of the jungle species are apes and monkeys, so we need to kind of find a couple of animals at least, and I think the okapi and the pygmy hippo are the two I'm really leaning towards, to try and break it up a little bit where this is concerned. But an amazing comment though, love it. And obviously again, you've mentioned like an ape house, so it is obviously a popular one in the community. Sumi is up next. Obviously, I'm just reading the bits. I will put the entire comment on the stream, on the screen, so you guys can see it. But I'm just reading out the bits that are relevant, really, to today. You could do a tiered land raised with the animals at different elevations to train around the whole area. I was thinking maybe since the African section, maybe elephants at the bottom, giraffes, zebra. It was more to do with the savannah area and the train. I just want to throw it out there. The train isn't going to go through the savannah area. It's going to cut past, it's going to cut by it. There's going to be like a verge. It's going to be behind some trees, and it's going to come out from the trees. It's going to be like an area where it's raised, and it's going to kind of come around this corner, and it will open up, and it will be able to see it, and then it will disappear behind some trees again. The train thing as well, I think Jareth left a comment with regards to it. Obviously, he said that he wasn't aware of how we do it in the UK zoos, but usually stuff like that is used as more of a tour rather than a shuttle system. Yeah, and that is actually true for UK zoos as well. But the point I was making with the whole shuttle was to go there and back would have been easier than doing a loop. 9 times out of 10 with UK zoos, it is more of a shuttle service where it goes from point A to point B and then B to A. That's just how we do it here, rather than it going in a loop. Save space, time, energy, money, lots of different things from what I've been reading. It will be a semi-tour, but it is more of a transport just to get from one place to another. I would imagine that you would probably get a little peek at things like the savannah area. You'll get a little look at the North American area. You'll get probably a look at the sort of colder area as well, and potentially sort of like the Australian area as it passes by. But that's going to be living in a dome, so how much of that it will see, I'm not sure. But yeah, lots and lots of good ideas here. And what is up next? Anton van Dijk is up next. He loves the additions. He did say for the African zone, though, a worn out Jeep. The plan I'm hoping to do at some point, Anton, is add another play area. At some point, we've only got the one main play area in the zoo. I'd like to add a couple of smaller parks around, and I think in the African area we could use the Jeep, sink it down into the ground, and it could look like a climbing frame. So that's actually a really good thing to be saying there, my friend. For the tropical zone, I love the idea for a massive greenhouse with a rainforest, immersive walk in the woods of the Congo. Maybe you'll see an okapi or a chimp while being surrounded by a hot climate and birds. The greenhouse is perfect to simulate the climate and acts as a barrier for the null habitat birds. I took some inspiration. I took some inspiration from Blijdorp. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Peridarzi and Plankendal. If you want, I can send you some inspiration on Discord. Yeah, feel free to do that, Anton. If you haven't done so already, I lose track of the stuff on Discord because lots of comments are coming and going all the time on there. One thing I'll say, Anton, about your comment is fantastic, and if the community like it, obviously I will do it. But again, the idea of an indoor building greenhouse, again, we've kind of done that already, haven't we, with the factory? It might be a bit much, another indoor building, but what I will say is we could do a smaller kind of walk-through greenhouse that is part of this, that you walk through. We could just put plants in it, obviously for now, but we could treat it as though it's like a smaller monkey habitat or something like that, or it's got some birds flying around, but we could kind of place that amongst this rather than making it a big part of it and having, the larger species walk through it. I'm just trying to open the zoo up a little bit. I hope you kind of understand that, but like I say, if enough people like your comment though, we will go with it, my friend. What else? Fanroll is the last one from this bunch of comments that I'm going to read. Love the flooring. Teach me. If anyone didn't see it, I did put a how-to video out recently on how to do custom flooring. So if you are someone that plays Planet Zoo and you want to check that out, I'll link it above for you right now, my friends. Feel free to go and do so. I know Fanroll did, and she absolutely loved it. She also said about restarting. I restarted obviously an area, and it brought something great. It really, really did, and it's amazing. And it's, but regarding the African animals towards more tropical, I'd love to see some gorillas. I think the animal animations for these are phenomenal, but few people on YouTube make habitats for them. I made one in our first build in Highland Zoo, and I loved making that habitat. Gorillas are going to be a big part of this area. I want to go and see gorillas in the wild. They are one of my favourite animals. They really intrigue me, so I will definitely be bringing gorillas to this zoo. I think as a bigger zoo as well, we would have a bigger primate species. So yeah, definitely going to be putting gorillas in. There's nothing to worry about where that is concerned, my friends. And then yeah, we've got one other video, which was the master plan video, which I'm going to take a look at now and try and nick some comments from, just so that we can take a little look at this. I'm not very prepared, so I'm trying to like work my way through all of the good comments that people have been leaving. Combat Wombat said something about maybe a small mammal house to be placed in here somewhere. Maybe not so much in the African area, but he did put a small mammal house. It's going to have giant otters and such, like the Smithsonian National Zoo. It doesn't have to be themed area. It's just there, and it might look cool. And basically, I think that Combat was suggesting a way around the otter problem that we've got and where to place them. And it is a good idea, to be fair, and it's one that I might go with. I'm really not sure. Like, if there isn't room for the African house that we were going to put the aardvarks in, it might be cool to just have like a small mammal house where we could have the aardvarks and the otters, and it don't really matter where they're from. It's just because of what it services. But we will see. Like I've already said, we might not put every animal in the zoo anyway, so it's really not a problem. And then we've got Lexi, who left a comment and refers to like a bit more than just the African area. made a point of saying that I think it's important that we leave space for future DLCs, definitely, because it will avoid the issues that we come across with the Tropical House. She was commenting more along the lines of those empty spaces that I was asking you guys what to do with, and I think making a good point in that we don't have to fill them in right now. We can leave them open for future projects, which is a good piece of advice, really. Wouldn't be too quick to pass off like branching areas as well, so that the zoo doesn't feel so linear, which is a really good point as well. And I think we're going to have some branches, areas that branch off, up in North America. We're going to have a bit that branches off and goes up to the dull sheep. We're going to have this piece with the tropical Africa that is going to branch off. I would imagine Australia's probably going to branch off later on, and so on and so on. There are going to be areas like that, and I think we will do a bit more of that now that the zoo will open up into bigger habitats as well. But again, a really good point. And then left a point here. Love the Pygmy Hippo River idea. Obviously, it was the idea where I said about making that river where it would kind of interact with the other habitats. Visually, from a guest point of view, is an increasingly common and popular habitat design, and she's all for it. Proud of me testing my comfort zone with the bridge as well. Yeah, I am forever testing myself and trying to step outside that comfort zone, trying not to play it as safe as I always do. What else? Nightclive. I'm going to bring up this comment from Nightclive because of some of the stuff that Nightclive said, and it's just nicer to address you guys in the episodes than it is in the comment section sometimes, so that I can make you understand a bit more with my thinking. But Nightclive left a comment. Said mostly agree with you. I mostly agree to most of your plans. The reindeers may be combined or neighboured with the dull sheep was something I wanted to suggest anyway. So that's good. We're going to get the reindeers in, and obviously we're going to do the dull sheep in like a mountain habitat. To be true, I can't imagine the Africa situation right now, but I've learned to trust you on that. However, an animal that is subject to big conversation efforts in real life, therefore must in our Africa jungle, is the okapi, together with the nyla and the bongo. Not quite sure which one of them was the jungle antelope. They would make a good opener. The only thing I'm opposed to are the peacocks out of the entrance or Asia area. They just don't fit into Africa or America and would disturb the immersion. I actually have an idea for the empty space in North America, but for that I need to do some research and assistance to comment. And I do believe you did leave a comment on Discord, Nightclive, which I did reply to, I hope. If I haven't, do let me know, my friend. Yeah, so also he said about adding people to the walls, which is something I'm going to do. I want to address this thing that Nightclive said about the peacocks, though. Now, there is no Asian area in the zoo. I just want to throw that out there. There isn't. It doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. The peacocks live in wild gardens, which are just kind of like open areas that join sections of the zoo. Now, half of me gets the point of they're not from those regions, so why would we put them in there? But my point that I am going to make, that I made from day one. Now, it's a very long time ago. It's 6 months ago. So, for me to have to repeat this is okay, in my opinion. The peacocks were always going to exist as an animal that could roam free in the zoo. And so, at the end of the day, if I wanted to, I could just turn the whole zoo into one big habitat and just throw the peacocks in there if I wanted, because that was the idea with the peacocks. Because a lot of UK zoos just let their peacocks roam free. It's a big thing in this country. There's not many zoos you'll go to and you won't see something like, like a peacock roaming free, basically. Is it kookaburras as well? At Whipsnade, they roam free. Believe it or not, they just walk about. There's obviously external walls on the zoo, so they can't escape, but they just walk about in Whipsnade. There's a few animals that do that in this country, and they thrive doing it. And so my idea with the peacocks was is to put them in areas so that we could control them, but it would make it look as though they were roaming free. Now, obviously, I'm going to offer this up to you, the community. I want you to let me know in the comment section if you agree with Nightclive, or if you're leaning more towards the way I kind of planned it. If you are against the idea of me putting peacocks in here and peacocks in here, just to kind of give it that idea that they do roam free, then let me know, and then I won't do it. You know, at the end of the day, it is up to you guys. But I felt the need to address this because I kind of distinctly remember very early on when we were building this zoo saying that they were going to be an animal that kind of roamed free. In the zoo, basically. Alexander Gardner left a comment. He picked on me for saying that Colchester Zoo isn't run by ZSL, only London and Whipsnade. Colchester used to be part of ZSL. That's probably where I got that wrong, but thank you for correcting me, my friend. He said he likes the idea of an ape house. Seen it in a lot of zoos and could be a very natural with mud walls and moats. Like the idea with the pygmy hippos. However, I'm not sure how well they will use it in the game. I'm not sure. As long as you add enough enrichment items on each bank, they will use that water. It's just finding a way of doing it. There's ways around it in this game. In the corner of the jungle section, by the wild dogs and anteater house, you could add a couple of ungulate paddocks for Bongo and Okapi. This would provide them with a quiet corner, as they are often very shy. The habitat could be sunk down with a separate viewing balcony for the guests of the main path. So you're suggesting this area here might be perfect for the Okapi. I do tend to agree, actually. Further enough away from the train that it wouldn't disturb them, and it would be a quieter corner for the animals. So yeah, I quite like that idea. Like the idea with the peafowl. So there you go. That's the flip side of it, which is good. I'm offering you up that. Love all the backstage realism. Last but not least, big idea. The Big Ideas welcome area. I think this could be turned into a large Asian elephant complex. Now, I'm just going to leave this up on the screen for you guys to read, because do we think an Asian elephant habitat fits in that area? I want you guys to let me know. I like the idea of it. I'm not sure how much it would add to the lore of the zoo. But I have to offer these up to you guys in the community. But essentially, Alexander suggests we do a big Asian elephant area where, they are rescued from stuff like circuses and things like that. And then we have this just huge complex that could be like walk through educational purposes for our guests and so on and so on and so on. But it depends what route we want to go down. Do we want to add African elephants for the African area, or do we want to go down the route and add an Asian elephant and then have some more Asian animals like scattered about in that area? That really is up to you, the community. But it's when you read through it, it's a really, really cool suggestion and idea from Alexander. Apologies, Alexander, for not reading through the whole thing, my friend. It's on the screen for people to read, but I'm just trying to save a bit of time because I have so many comments to get through this week. But it is an amazing idea, and I do like it. State-of-the-art breeding facilities for rescued animals. You could have a separate paddock for the bull, and it is very well thought out and would add to the lore very much so. Bryn Jones left a comment. It's a great episode. Fab to hear that all the ideas are coming together and so on and so on. I really like the ideas of the presented areas. With the admin buildings, maybe you could expand fruit and veg gardens a little further. Actually, you've done something here, Bryn, that I didn't show off. I've done that. I like that idea enough, Bryn, that I've actually done it, my friend. I've expanded it. I've put in more sort of trees that we get fruits and stuff from, a couple more of our greenhouses. We've got another storage shed back here. Not sure. Might put some more fruit and veg, but it might be like a little storage area as well. But yeah, I have added more. I like that idea enough, Bryn, that I added a bit more. And I think that it really opens the area up a little bit, and it helps us out. We could even add some more if we wanted, maybe in another area of the zoo, maybe over this way to kind of service this side, maybe. But yeah, I liked it enough, my friend, that I've already done it. In the open idea section, north of the hospital, I feel wetlands with some nature paths would be ideal. It also includes some tree sanctuaries to create a sustainable way of feeding the animals in the zoo. That's a really cool idea. I've read a great idea of adding the Dole sheep to the possible reindeer section. So some great ideas. Can't wait to see what the animal hospital comes out like. It's a pretty good comment. Love that one. Absolutely love it. Love the idea. This one's from Jordan Abraham. Love the ideas, Dan. I was thinking maybe for the future of the African area, you could maybe build a big chimp habitat area research centre, which would be solely focused on the chimps, gorillas and bonobos. So that's like a different take on that area. It's like research conservation based and educating the guests on that. That's really cool. That's kind of a flip on what other people have been suggesting, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring that to your attention. What else do I want to read? There's so many comments, and this is what I love, and I've been needing to do this for a while. This is going to be a long video. Some of you will love it, some of you will hate it, but it's going to be a long one, my friends, because there's lots to show you today. Random goat put, nice idea as always. For the ideas section, I think you could squeeze in a petting zoo with the llamas, warthogs as pigs, and so on. Not sure if you're willing to use mods, but some domestic animals. I did see that there are some really fantastic domestic animals on the workshop. The trouble is they replace some of the animals that are already in the game. And because we don't know if we're going to use them or not, I don't really want to go down the route of using mods. And I don't want to use mods in case they ruin and break the game. And that's the last thing we need. So yeah, I'm not really up for that. But I think we could use some animals that we could get round it with. I like the idea of making an artificial mountain for the Dole sheep that others have mentioned. It could transform the reindeer habitat to a potential petting zoo. I'm suggesting it could also still be possible to place a foliage barrier between the petting zoo and the main road. Yeah, it's a fair comment and another suggestion for the community to think about. Sumnar has left a comment and said ideas for the Into Africa. Instead of the African jungle name, instead of the name African jungle, name it Into Congo. Most of the animals in Africa that are from the rainforest are from the Congo, so it makes more sense. Also, when you get to the end of the bridge, you could add the lions there. I'm not sure about the lions there. I'm not sure if that would be good placement because of the way the train is going to work. But we will see. It's a good suggestion nonetheless. But Into the Congo, if all the animals are from the Congo, it's a good idea. The name, by the way, African Jungle, that weren't like set in stone. We needed to come up with a name. But yeah, it's good that you've thrown one in the hat. Ideas for North America. North America train station, you can put the information about the American Railroads system. Went from one side of the country to the other. Share some pictures. That's a really cool idea, actually. I also think you could add the Dole sheep in the North America area because they're mainly in Alaska and the mountain range. And I think the Dole sheep would be good in the area because we need more. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that we will definitely do the Dole sheep and we will have them as a bit that comes off. With the animal hospital, they said we could put some of the peacock in a holding area over there, which actually isn't a bad idea. And then there's a fourth one, which is future ideas. In the future, we could build a rare animal area for the Siberian tiger. If you don't decide to add the bonobos in the African area, you could add them in a rare animals area. Also, at the end of the zoo, you could add a huge lake and then have the canal connect to the lake. That's a good idea because I did actually say, like, could someone maybe suggest where the canal was going to go? And that's actually a really cool idea. I don't mind that at all. That canal could actually feed into a lake eventually, potentially, where like our main restaurant and our education centre is going to go. But you still need to decide where it's going to flow and how it's going to move and all this sort of stuff, because you have to think about things like rubbish and stuff like that. But it is a good idea, though. Like that a lot. Who else? There's one more I'm going to do. It's from Leaf Production. It said, missed the series. Sorry, I kind of took a back seat for a bit. It seems you're going really hard and they're really here for it. Can't wait to see the connecting road fleshed out too. Sightlines from it will pay off so much. Suggestion I think I'd happily contribute would be to get that as soon as you can. Even throwing down some prefab buildings by Eben and some other workshop would pay off nicely. Maybe even some Dan designated custom ones. I know it won't really pay off for exhibit wise, but having something in the background helps to really flesh out a zoo and the sightlines you can get from it. That's actually, do you know what? I like that comment a lot. And the reason Leaf is very good at this stuff is because I know Leaf creates Planet Zoo content himself as well. But it is a really good point that Leaf is making. And if I jump in and I just show you, I know we're coming to the end of today's video. I know it's a long one, my friends. But he's basically saying, get this road fleshed out and get some buildings put in that are, just so it will help build the sightlines, because at the minute we're literally using just the zoo to try and build this. But if you had like a high-rise building back here, with the road and stuff slightly raised up and things like that, you'd be able to see all this stuff, you know, from the zoo and whatnot. And from those roads, you'd then be able to look towards the zoo, and you build these fascinating sight lines. I'm yet to talk to a few creators, but a few of the well-known creators in the Planet Zoo community I am going to contact, because I kind of want to open that stuff up to a couple of people, because there's a few people out there that are very good at this stuff, and I would like them to have a little bit of input where this is concerned. But yeah, that's a really good idea from Leaf. Also, I know it's a clunky system to work with, but sky trams over Africa could be a beautiful addition, plus a good way for the zoo to make some dosh on the side. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go with that, Leaf. Obviously, it will be offered up to the community. If enough people want it, I'll go with it. But because I'm using the train, I don't know if using the sky trams is something I want to do in this zoo. We might do it at a later date in another zoo, but we will see. If enough people want it, I will consider it. But there you go, my friends, we're done. That's lots of comments gone through, showing off the animal hospital, the car parks, all the new little additions. We've been hard at work. I'm going to continue to work, my friends. Hopefully get it finished all by Wednesday to give you an episode, and then I will start on the African area, and that will come out on Sunday. But what I want you all to do is, you've seen all the comments, you've seen all the ideas. I really hope you've enjoyed them all. Go through them. Let me know the ones you enjoy the most, expand on them if you want, and try to nail down the animal that you want us to start with in that African area. I just need 1 or 2 species to start with, and then I know what direction to go in. Let me know the comments you like the most, and continue to leave your comments as well, even if it is kind of like, like I've already said, expanding on people's ideas and things like that. But my friends, I am done. I'm going to go. I'm off. I need to finish this build. But my friends, enjoy this episode. I really hope you have. Drop a like on it to show your appreciation. If you're new, please consider hitting that subscribe button. On the subject of subscribers, we hit 1,500 subscribers this week, which is an amazing achievement. Thank you, every single person. And yeah, here's to the next 1,500, my friends. But I am off. Have a really, really good day. Stay safe, stay humble, and I'll see you all next time.